Hey everyone, thank you all for joining us on stage here. To get started, let's just do a quick kind of lightning round. One sentence each to warm us up. We'll go down the line. One sentence on events in the context of agency comms. You can start.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So good to be here. Thank you. I think of events in context of agency comms as events are a channel. It's a branding device for your agency and your holding company or your new unit that you're trying to launch. Events are hugely valuable and under maximized channel.
Thank you.
I would say one-stop shop. I mean, look at what's happening here today, right? You're talking about a wide variety of different things that are relevant in the industry. All of you guys took out time out of your day, and you're not going to only learn and hopefully take some takeaways, but also meet some new colleagues, potentially new business. I mean, there's very few things that you can say tick so many different boxes than an event. And that was way more than a sentence, but so I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. I would say events is a way to pull people in organically, so you're not just blasting them with emails, putting things on social media, but a way to have people remember an experience, remember a quote, remember the person that they met. So organic connection.
All right, thank you. Also for all of you, you can all take this one. In your experience, what are the top characteristics of a must-attend event?
I think you have to have three things. I think you have to have amazing content. You need to bring the right people, and by that I mean trade show, event, tentpole, whatever you're talking about. Us as an organizer, we need to make sure we have a clear focus on who our audience is, because if we don't have focus, you guys are definitely not going to get anything out of it by being there. And then I think networking. You've got to foster environments that people feel comfortable networking in. So different types of environments, not just classrooms where people feel like, oh my God, I'm nervous to just like introduce and talk, to someone next to me.
So before we go to the next person to answer that, what events out there do you think actually deliver on those important attributes?
I mean, well, I'm going to say possible, obviously.
I thought you might.
I mean, but one of the things that I will say, and listen, I'm an event industry. I've been in events for a really long time. The events that I have loved in my career all have the same things. They are loved by the industry, fostered by their industry, and in areas that are different. So we're at the Fontainebleau. We have activations outside, inside. We literally take over the whole area. And I think that's the key to our success, much like a South by Southwest, a Cannes. All of these tentpole things that industry events that you think about, they all have that same common theme running through them.
Thank you. Yeah, can you answer the top attributes and who delivers?
To me, it's like FOMO. Like, what are the events that you personally want to go to, and you're jealous of people who have gone to them? I think when you're activating on an event, when you're planning, when you creatively try to create FOMO, I think it's really simple. Like, for instance, my niece works at Samsung Ads. She is a seller, so she gets to entertain every media buyer in town. They get to do the most fun stuff. In my career, I haven't done as many fun things as she's done in the last 3 years. I mean, they're getting personalized shoes made. They're having clothing fittings. They're going to behind the scenes at the Met Gala. They're like doing all these amazing things. And I'm like, think of like the stuff that you'd like to go to yourself.
Yeah, for me, it's about creating access. So let me access someone who otherwise I wouldn't be able to talk to. So the One Club has an event called the Creative Leaders Retreat, and it's an upskilling event. It was designed for people who are mid-level professionals who now want to lead their own creative teams. But what it has morphed to is sort of like a camp, almost. I don't want to call it a summer camp because it happens in the winter. But it's a camp of sort for creatives, and you get a chance to have these intimate conversations. There's no more than 20 people in the room at a time, and you're talking with someone who founded an agency. And you could message that person on LinkedIn, you may not get a response. You can email them, you may not get a response. But if you come to this event, now you're having this intimate conversation, and then we have dinners together, people go out for drinks together, so now you're having that organic connection with someone. So to me, access.
Thank you, guys. Julie, this one's for you. What's the best way to pitch event participation to leadership? So when these guys want their leadership to be on stage, there's budget cuts environment, there's lean resources, it's time away from client, but it's important for agency leaders to be on stage at events. Like, what's the best way to make that happen?
Well, you have to be really proactive. There's more scrutiny than ever. Budgets really got cut at the end of this year, and I think the scrutiny in 2025 will continue. It's so funny, as I was walking here, I was like, oh my God, there's 79 Fifth, where I started at Fallon, New York, and I was remembering how hard it was to convince Pat Fallon to let us go to Cannes for the first time. He's like, that's a boondoggle, you're gonna goof off. And I was like, no, I have to go. I got David Lubars to be a judge, and so I had to go with him. But then we said, we're going to recruit our talent for our new London office that we're opening. And he's like, are you an HR? Are you a recruiter? I'm like, I am now. and we did indeed recruit the guys who started the office. So, but this I found a terrible stat last year at Cannes. I used to run this brand council for a client, and some of the women were telling me, oh, we want to go to Cannes, but we can't. We don't have speaking opportunities. And I'm like, do your male peers have to have the same, do they have to have speaking? No. I'm like, oh boy. So I got 2 of them speaking opportunities just because it was wrong. But, the ROI, I call it return on events, ROE. Now there's more and more scrutiny, more and more metrics that you can use. I always tell clients, like, meetings are not your only metric. Marketers do not want to meet with you at ANA. They hide. They also leave early. So, no one at Cannes wants to be in that meeting you've just made and talking to them about programmatic on the Côte d'Azur endlessly. People want to really exit. So, be really smart, be really strategic. Make sure everyone agrees on the metrics and what the game plan is and what you hope to get out of it. But some of the most unexpected things happen at these events where, say you didn't do it A, B, and C. Well, D, E, and F can happen, and those relationships that you start and those connections can help you the rest of your career. So,
thanks. Leah, how can agencies make the most of big tentpole events like Possible and others? Like, how can you really make the most of those things from a comms perspective and PR perspective?
I just want to add one thing, because I love flipping this conversation. So if you're going to a tentpole and, like I previously said, if it's content, networking, brands, stories, you're getting all of this in one place. I think obviously the expense conversation is a serious one, but where else could you potentially, and recruiting, do all of those things for one plane ticket and one hotel room? I would argue that an event actually is sustainable because you're only taking that one plane ride, okay? And you are actually hitting probably people from across the country and across the world. Yeah. So it's a win-win, I think, if you kind of flip the conversation a little bit.
Okay, Adrienne, what are some top, if you can, association events you suggest that are kind of sleepers, people may not know about, places that you might want to have, these guys might want to have execs on stage?
Yeah. So I work at the One Club, so these answers are going to include the One Club for Creativity. One Show, so that's our annual award show. We give out the pencils. A lot of people are nodding their heads. They're familiar with this. And Shannon Washington, she actually had a post on Threads where she said, if you want to meet people in a cost-effective way, go to an award show. You're getting the top minds in the industry. You're paying for that one award show ticket, and you can hop from table to table, go to the after parties, and connect with with folks. It's cost efficient, and you're maximizing your time. In addition to that, the event that I mentioned earlier, CLR, and then putting on my D&I hat, we're all the Black people. I'm the executive director of that event, so I'm biased towards it. But it is advertising's largest diversity conference and career fair. It's where you can go to meet talent of all backgrounds, actually. And if your company cares about D&I, or you're looking for ways to still engage in D&I as we're entering this sort of uncertain terrain, where all the Black people and other industry events like Ad Color, for instance, are great ways to do that.
Thanks. Okay, for all of you, what's the best way to determine what events to be at and how to get on stage? And if you're not on stage, you've addressed this. I was going to say, if you aren't on stage, you just still go, and you've talked about recruiting and networking and new business and all that. But what is the best way to get on to figure out which events to be on stage at, and which ones to really push for your execs?
I'll start. Bring them something valuable. Bring them news, a news-making opportunity. Bring them a bold-faced name. Bring them something people actually want to go to. And be proactive. I always say, partner with these organizations. Find out, start early, gather the intel. Who's sponsoring the event? Ask for their sponsorship kit. Maybe your entity can help sponsor part of it. This is a collaborative industry, and luckily a collegial one, but these events, they take a lot of people and a lot of cooperation. So, be useful to the hosts. If you can't be on that panel, suggest some names. I helped fill a jury at Cannes, and then one year, and I was luckily asked to be on the jury last year for Outdoor, which was a huge honor, because I wasn't a working creative on a working brand or a CMO, but it was because of years of being a huge champion of the festival and helping them for a change.
Right, so make connections at the big events where you want to be on stage, and eventually it pays off.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
I would say, think about it also sometimes that maybe it takes 1 or 2 years to get on that bigger stage. In a lot of shows, there's a lot of different types of content going on. I think sometimes people get like real tunnel vision. Like, if I'm not on that main stage, if I'm not in that prime time slot on that prime day, like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to even, consider it. And I really think that that's a miss, because you could be in a smaller room with 75 people, but if those 75 people are all the people that you're trying to reach, that's actually a better position than just being on a main stage where you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, and I'll echo everything that was said earlier. And for me, working at the One Club, what I've noticed is that people either know the One Club and they're huge fans of it, or they're like, what's the One Club? So for me, sometimes when I'm looking at events, I'm looking at who's in the room. Is this person, do they have a nexus to the One Club yet? And if not, and I want to connect with them, sometimes it's being in the audience at their panel and then going up to them after. Even in this situation, I met Leah through this, and now we're talking about ways that Possible and the One Club can get together. So every opportunity, being in the room, is a chance to make those connections. You don't always have to be on stage to do that.
I love that. Can the 4As get some credit for that connection?
Absolutely.
Good.
Okay, so what about, the official title of this panel is What's In, What's Out, What's Next? So any events that people may not hear of, I'm not talking about Cannes or South by Southwest, but what are the ones where, or even if you have an opinion that, skip South by this year, or skip Cannes, but go here, what's your opinion for all of you on, and not just Possible, but what's the big thing that you should keep your eye on? What's the thing you might need to skip? Anything, new and emerging?
I wouldn't say skip or not skip. I think look at it more holistically. Look at the entire calendar, because it can get really overwhelming. We all know there's events after events after events. what really makes the most sense for what you're currently doing in your business and where you want to be by the end of the year. So I would almost take it like a calendar of like how I'm going to get to my objectives to the end of the year. To me, that makes a lot more sense than just saying, to your point, I gotta be at Cannes. Maybe you're not gonna meet any of the right people, but like, being in this room serves you better. So to me, it's really about surveying it as a landscape.
Are you comparing this event to Cannes?
Yes.
Well, thank you. So happy.
Wow.
And so Julie.
Well, that's fabulous. The comparison. No, I just think the way to approach it is holistically, as Leah said, and you're looking at your whole marketing. It's a part of your marketing plan, and again, it's a channel, and being really creative about how to make the most out of that and how to maximize it. Just be creative, be strategic, use the tools out there. We have more tools than ever. Do some research, like look back in time at, demand to see the numbers on. I just did that with Possible for a client who was interested, and I'm like, not demanding in a mean way, but like, give me the ammo to help sell, and. So find out the stats, find out what they're saying in their sponsor, gather the intel, be the informant for your organization, be the one in the know. Watch their registration pages and when they launch and when they update the site and who the speakers are and what speakers are going to be there, and then try to partner with entities while you're there, create moments. It's just a matter of being creative, being strategic, and being responsible.
Yeah, I can jump in
Yeah,
too.
please.
So working at a nonprofit, our budgets are limited, and so I have my set budget, and so I look at what it would cost if I can't get an in-kind partnership for that event. I always try to get an in-kind partnership if I can. And some of you who work at agencies or brands, going into 2025 where budgets may be limited, maybe this will be helpful. But I literally create a deck and I outline what the potential ROI will be versus the cost of travel and expenses. And the other thing is I don't have to go to every event every year. Sometimes it's every other thing, like how this event is modeled, where your face is still visible, people still know you, and they associate you with the event, but you're not there all the time. So it allows you to see other things in the off year. So the ROI, it has to make sense, and you don't have to be at the event every single year.
So a question that we hadn't talked about in the prep, but I'm going to throw it out. Do you think it's better for an agency? The agency wants to get their name out there. They want, new business consultants to know them. They want the expertise and the faces and the people. Do you think it's better for them to pick a few experts who are great on stage and be at every event, or you think it's better for them to kind of share the wealth among a number of people across the agency and show the breadth of an agency?
Yeah, I'm going to say the latter. I personally get tired of seeing the same person be the mouthpiece for a company all the time, or even what was said on the previous panel where it's just trying to share the wealth. We want to hear different perspectives. And also, it doesn't have to be the most senior person at the company all the time. We want to hear success stories. We want to see people who, regardless of their age, they're able to win. And diversify.
Love that.
Oh, I totally agree. I think the more you actually can show the breadth of your organization, the stronger you seem to a potential client or anyone. All of those different voices, and they're thinking, oh, I'm going to be able to take advantage of all of that. That knocks it out of the park.
Yep. And I would say show up in unexpected places. Don't go where everyone's going. Maybe there's a chance to do something with Patau versus ANA. Or maybe there's, sorry, Bob, maybe you should be doing everything with 4As. Marla? No.
That's such a good point.
But no, come up with different things that make your agency stand out and make your people stand out and take risks. I remember putting a person who had never spoken on stage on the main stage with David Karp, the founder of Tumblr, who was not an easy person to talk to. And it could have been disaster, but they became fast friends, and they ended up skipping the next day full of meetings, and race driving around Monaco, and like crazy, and they're friends still. But like, crazy stuff happens. But be creative, try to be out there in new ways, do different things.
Cool. Well, we are out of time.
Oh, wow.
And I know, it's big.
Perfect.
3 fat red zeros. And thank you guys very much for that panel. Really appreciate it. And we'll bring our...
Oh,
sorry. I'm the one who told every other moderator, don't forget your last question is, what's your key takeaways? What's your key takeaways?
Okay.
Leah, would you like to go first?
Sure. I mean, I have to read mine. Trade shows aren't just events. They're opportunities to create real human connections that drive business results. I mean, I'll just say, our trade shows, whatever you want to call them, I kind of hate that word, but, took a beating during COVID and are back bigger than ever. And I think that's because we crave that human connection. We crave, being in a room together, meeting people organically, and there's no better way to do that than at events.
Thank you. Adrienne?
Yeah, I feel like we're living in a time of increased connectivity. And so people don't want to be in these formulaic panels where you can tell it was rehearsed and it's like, oh, wait, now you go and now I go. People want to feel like it's an organic conversation. And I think reducing the time of the panels and increasing time for audience engagement would be greatly appreciated.
You should have told us that before, because now we're out of time for questions.
Perfect.
Actually,
All right.
Okay, Julie.
Last one. Plot your return on event, your ROE. I did not coin that, I don't think, but I think it's catchy, and your CEOs might like it. Plot well in advance. We're working now a year and a half in advance now on certain events. Strategically use every tool, every metric. There's a company called Certain. I was just at a Reuters event where this company, they can help with everything from event management to buying signals, AI-driven buying signals, so you know where your customer's walking around and how much time she or he has spent at a particular, show, whatever, expo booth or whatever. Anyway, use every tool and metric, but keep it human. And remember, this is a super fun industry. It still is. And you guys have such creative, subject matter to talk about all the time. And just keep it fun.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.